Yo, what's good, Astro? Thanks for calling in, man. What's good? How you been?
I'm good, man. Thank y'all for having me, man. I'm in LA right now. Relaxing. It's my last day out here for a minute, so I'm just enjoying it.
Are you in LA, man? You used to that West Coast, man?
Yeah, West Coast. This is like my second home. Like I see Brooklyn, then LA, Los Angeles. It's pretty cool out here.
Nah, man, it's that weather though, that Cali weather, fam.
Exactly.
All right, so man, I've really first heard about you when you dropped your "Starving Like Marvin" for a Cool J project, and man, I didn't know anything about you. I heard that "Didn't Know" track actually, and then I had to download the mixtape, and
Oh,
man,
I didn't know and then didn't know.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
That
Oh
was
no, no, no pun intended. Nah,
yeah,
no pun intended. My bad. But no, that
you good.
when I heard that track, I was like, who's this kid? And then I looked you up, and then everyone was like, you ever heard of Astro? He was on like the X Factor and stuff. I was like, what? So man,
Oh
just
yeah.
tell us about the creative process behind like that project. And I know you got the name from I'm assuming that skit at the intro with Biggie. So can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that project, man?
Well, this was a special project to me because it was my first like the first time I considered like what I was working on, the album. Everything else was just like mixtapes. So it was just like throw some songs together that make them sound dope and put it on one CD. But this was an album, so I had to treat it real special. And this is like one of my first projects that I can actually listen to like after it dropped, because I don't like listening to my own music. Not because it's bad or nothing, but just I just don't like listening to my own music. I like listening to new stuff and going forward. But this one right here is different from everything else because it's not just retro. It's is all generations can relate to it. So I thought that was real dope, and it's getting a pretty good response. I got to work with some great producers, Static Selector, the legend Easy Mo B, LeBron, BMC, Brandon the Shade, and yeah, the Starving Like Marvin for a Cool J song. The title I actually got that from the Biggie song that you hear at the skit in the beginning. And I flipped it because it's a LL Cool J line, but I flipped it to mean like I'm starving for success because LL is a successful dude and he had a lot of hit records. So it's like I'm starving for that hit record, starving for success. So it's a deeper meaning than a lot of people would think first time they look at it.
Man, that's sick, man. We like there definitely a lot of tracks that just really it's a very mixture type of thing, like just being able to relax to some storytelling type of stuff. And I know
Yeah,
you mentioned a lot of the producers actually, and I actually had a question about that. Just a lot of really sick production from like yes, like you said, Static Selecta, Brandon, and the Neptunes as well, right?
yeah, that's an instrumental. Some people think that's
Oh yeah,
original.
that's
Yeah,
the
that's it.
instrumental joint. Okay.
Actually, I did a song with Pharrell, but that was when I was with the label. I just left the label recently, so I don't know if people ever hear that. But yeah, that one that I used was an instrumental.
You did a song with Pharrell. What? Where is that though, man? Where is it?
It's the label. The label got it somewhere in the folder somewhere, man. It's the
Man,
music business. I had some dope songs. I did a joint with No ID, Pharrell, Boy Wonder.
man,
I had like some crazy joint with Pharrell.
man. We gotta hear that. Is there any chance of that being released to the public one day, or what?
Uh, you said any what?
Any chance for that to be released to the public one
I
day, man?
mean, I don't know. I don't know because I hope it is. But the way the producers work is like they'll sell the beat if it's not being used.
Mm,
So it's like I recorded this song like sometime last year. So I don't know if he sold the beat.
yeah,
Busta Rhymes could come out with a song next week over the same exact beat. So I don't know if he doesn't sell it. Then yeah, definitely I think it'll be heard one day. But
I
I
feel
don't
you.
know.
So yeah, but going back, like I said, Static Selecta and Brandon. How did you build those relationships with them, man? Are they great people, man? What's up?
Yeah. Well, Brandon is the homie, man. I've always been a fan of Brandon Deshay, and I met up with him one day at his crib, and ever since then we was just vibing because he lives like right down the block from me in Bed Stuy. So very cool dude, young producer as well. He produced joints for a lot of people, man. Almost everybody, like the underground cats is coming up. And anytime me and Brandon get together, like it's a great song. So I had to work with him again. And Static Selector, I did the Kendrick Lamar response, the
Yeah.
Coney joint, and that was
Yep.
over his beat. So I guess he heard, he liked it. Went down to the station, met him, and the next day I went to his crib, and we recorded like a bunch of joints. Not even all of them went on the tape, but like we recorded so many songs.
Man, that's sick, man, for sure.
Yeah,
All right, man. So
cool, cool.
you're mad young. Like how old are you right now?
I'm 17.
Oh wow, you're 17. All right.
Oh,
Well,
I thought you were 16 when coming on air, man. I'm tripping.
Oh no, no, I just turned 17, September 27th. So
Nice. Well, happy belated birthday to you.
thank you, thank you.
But so you started young. What got you into rapping? How did it feel rapping on the X Factor?
It was cool. It was entertainment. It was just something I did just to get my name out there for the fact that it was what you saw on TV
I
pretty
see.
much. But rapping, I started rapping when I was professionally when I was like 9 years old. But I've always had rhythm in me since I was a baby. Like if I heard a song, I'd move around to it. I'd
Mm,
enjoy hip hop, so I was always around it. But it wasn't until I was 9 that I decided, all right, let me take this serious and make it a job.
right. I see. And after
Yeah.
watching your audition on X Factor and your performance of Stop Looking at My Mom, I mean, we've all watched American Idol, we've watched X Factor, and I think it's safe to say we all know how Simon is and he's real hard and stuff. So, in fact, we even saw your mom ask you specifically if you were like nervous about him. And the way you started off your performance by calling him out and everything, like, I thought it was clever, but in my, like, it was pretty risky. Like, what gave you that idea or that courage to do it?
I mean, it's all entertainment, you know what I'm saying? I knew it was like hundreds of auditions that day, so I had to do something to set myself apart.
I
'Cause there's
see.
other people that auditioned, but they didn't even get their joint aired because it was, average. So I knew I had to do something that was like, they had to air it, It's just TV, it's entertainment, so.
Man, that was smart. And how old were you when you auditioned on X Factor?
That was a while ago. I was like probably like 14.
That's
Couple of
crazy.
years.
That was so strategic, though. Like the way that you thought it out, you had to do something different.
Yeah,
I like that.
And
thank you.
taking things a little backtrack too. I know you mentioned Coney with Static Selector and everything. So you probably been asked this 1,000 times, but just what was your how did you feel in regards to like reacting to the Control verse and you
Uh,
taking the response and hitting him back with that?
it wasn't as serious as people made it seem. It was just like a great opportunity to get your buzz up. Like any artist that responded was people was paying attention because they wanted to hear what everybody from New York had to say. But I didn't feel mad about it. Kendrick is cool. I actually bumped into him not too long after at the VMAs in Brooklyn.
Mm.
Even though they ain't let nobody from Brooklyn in. But back to the point, yeah. But I actually ran into him and he was like, "Yo, good stuff on the remix." So it wasn't nothing personal. Like if a rapper
Yeah.
says personal disrespect in New York, he being dramatic now. That's it's not that serious. It was just a line. It ain't that serious.
Of course, man. And all right. Going back into the project, you tell a lot of stories with your lyrics. Like for example, songs like Lisa, and how important is it to you to use these like experiences to create your music, and how do you implement that into your music in the creative process?
I mean, well, I just try to tell stories, man. Like a comedian that I like, my favorite comedian is Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And like what makes him different from other comedians is that he doesn't just tell his life stories. Like he understands that the point is to make people laugh, but you don't have to go on stage and tell them about your kids every performance and your this and your that. He tells jokes. He creates these stories. So that's what I try to do with my music is create stories. It may not always necessarily be about me, but it's just stories that I was, in the moment I just felt like creating that story or stories that I see around me. But the point is to make people listen, so. I mean, I think that's missing in hip hop. Like Ice Cube used to do that, Pac used to do that. Now people stop. Biggie, so I'm trying to bring that part of rap back.
Man, so you definitely have a lot of influences.
In a previous interview, I was watching. It was with Ambrosia for Heads, and you mentioned wanting to resurrect G-Funk. What specifically
Yeah.
interests you so much about that, or like, what are your favorite things about that specific subgenre of hip hop?
Well, G-Funk is for people that don't know, G-Funk is a certain bounce for records, and it's either done. The bounce is either created in the beat or by the flow. So it's like if you listen to like a perfect song that describes G-Funk is Snoop Dogg, Pump Pump, featuring Lil Malik. Like that song, like G-Funk, it's a genre just like hip hop is a genre, but the difference between G-Funk is that it has a bounce. Like when you hear a certain bounce in the record, it's G-Funk, and it was created by like Dr. Dre in the whole West Coast back in the day. But you still have East Coast artists doing G-Funk, like That's Effects. They had a lot of G-Funk. Like you listen to these songs like Straight from the Sewer. adds a certain bounce to it that's, straight G-Funk. So I'm trying to bring that back. I don't want to be like everybody else because too many cats are the same today. So I'm just trying to do anything that could separate me from today's average sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I know nobody's doing G-Funk right now, but I bet you in like 2 years, G-Funk is a new wave. And I'll be like, remember who started it? But no, I love G-Funk, man.
So you definitely have both East Coast and assume just listening to a lot of West Coast stuff. In the same interview, you talk a lot about your Brooklyn roots and its influences on your music. So we've seen like some of the greatest all time. A lot of great people come out of your borough, like some of the greatest, like Biggie, Jay, Mos Def, Talib, and just to name off a few. Who would you say is your like number one and why?
I wouldn't have a number one. I wouldn't have it. Like my favorite artist is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I think, and that's my favorite artist. But I think Big was, was a little. He mastered more, like feels a little more than Jay did. But Jay is still my favorite artist. And then you could say it's like Rakim mastered things that Biggie didn't master. So it's like to say who's the best out of all of them is a big headache. Like I have to sit for a week and dissect, this and that. But Jay is my favorite artist. But I think all of those guys were unique, and they were all greats. But I don't know if I could choose one.
I see. So, I mean, we talked about your project, and we talked about all the producers you worked with, your favorites. So, what can we be looking forward to in the future from you?
Well, I put out a lot of free music, and recently people have been asking when am I going to sell something. So, I'm gonna just I'm probably gonna release a bunch of videos off this tape because there's a lot of records that I have ideas for as far as visuals.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably release a bunch of videos off this, and at the top of 2014, I'll have like an EP to sell on iTunes. So and January 10th, I got a movie coming out.
A movie?
That's the way I'm out here for it. Yeah, I'm acting as well. So.
Oh, cool. Can you tell us what movie you in or what or not?
Well, it's called Echo. It's like for the younger, the children, the Astro love the children. But it's like one of those actions, a good action film. It's just I can't tell y'all too much about it because I don't want to give anything away. But it's on the internet somewhere. Just search Echo and it'll come up, on IMDb or something.
For sure, and just man, I did. So you act, man. So how long have you been acting? I didn't know you were even that deep into how long you been acting, fam?
I've been acting for about 2 years now.
2 years. How do you like that?
2.5, maybe 2.5. Yeah.
You like acting, man?
Yeah, I like acting. Acting is cool. Being able to play another character, and I mean, I'm in LA because I act too, so it also takes you different places. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, all right. That's sick, man. And aside from just the acting stuff, do you know anybody is there anybody you're working with right now on the next project or whatever it is that's gonna come out? Anyone know?
No, I mean I don't want to tell anything yet, but it's not like I'm more of a dude that like I figure things out along the way. So I may collab with an artist tomorrow. I don't plan exactly who I want on a project. Whatever fits. But like when I know, you'll know. I don't tell too much people, but I'll hook y'all up.
Appreciate that, man. And we actually overlooked some the BET Award cipher. So man, you came through with bars. That's all I gotta say. And so how'd you feel about doing that? I know you were you were like.
Well, when I look back at it, it was like I didn't really like my verse. I think it's I don't hate it, but it's just an alright verse. I think I could have gone way harder, but like even in the interview, I said I was gonna bring my hardest bars, and I spit that because at the moment it was hot. It was hot to me, but then I went to the actual award show and they showed Kendrick cipher, and it was like, yo, oh man, it's over. Like I didn't even want to watch my cipher after that. Kendrick like really bodied it, but no, I mean I'm proud, that BET shows love all the time, and they gave me the opportunity to be a part of that. So, I'm really glad because the cipher is something historic. You know what I'm saying? It's legendary. Every MC dreams to do the cipher, so to be a part of that is like amazing, man. Shout out to BET.
And I always ask people this, so I know you're in your cipher. You're also alongside the likes of like Problem. And how'd you feel about Problem's verse, man? I would have never thought that he would have came off like that.
Now, Problem is the homie. Problem is the homie. I was actually just with Problem like 2, 3 nights ago in Brooklyn. He had a show out there. Cool dude, very cool dude. I definitely will be doing a feature with him sometime soon. But no, I like this verse. I'm gonna keep it 100 though. When I was there, I wasn't like the way it was filmed. You couldn't really hear anybody else's verse, so it was more like everybody's just focused on what they were saying.
Yeah.
And when you watch the cipher and you hear it, I was just surprised at the people because I didn't really hear what he was saying there because we didn't have any mics in our head or anything like that. We just spit, and I didn't really hear nothing. But when I watched it back, I was shocked, man. Problem is a real ill dude, man.
Yeah, that's sick to know, man. And moving on, we got this segment that we call the Ill Vibe 5. We're gonna ask you like 5 quick questions, like this or that, and you just gotta choose. You ready, man?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So, the Knicks or the Nets?
The Knicks. I don't really care about sports, but just 'cause Spike Lee like them, I like them.
All right. Common or Biggie?
Biggie.
Nice.
BET or MTV? A little random.
BET. They show love. They show more love than MTV. So BET.
And just off top, Beyonce or Alicia Keys?
Out of respect for Jay-Z, because I know he may be listening, and I don't want to ruin any connections with rock. I say Alicia Keys.
And then lastly, just on like the G-Funk tip of where you were talking about, Dre or Snoop?
Dre or Snoop? Snoop.
For sure.
But I mean, you can't really have a Snoop without a Dre, so that's a confusing question. Because Snoop, when he sounds best on Dr. Dre beat, so Dre kind of molded Snoop, but I say Snoop, man.
Hey, true that, man. Yeah, just to wrap things up, yo, you gotta come out to Vegas one of these days, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's only reason I ain't come out to Vegas yet is because I'm not over 21. And it's like nothing to do out there.
Yeah.
Not over 21,
Yeah, us either, man. We are 19 years old, so it's dope to reach out to someone who's also like young, coming from this young generation as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, will do, man.
Yeah, man. But other than that, you got any last words to the fans or anything that are hearing this right now?
Yes, go download the free album Starving Like Marvin for a Cool J song. Grade A 2013, we taking over. Much love to Ill Vibe, Brooklyn in the house. And yeah, man, thank y'all for having me.